Very well. Let's take yet another look at the security tape. After committing the crime, the witness opened the locker to put away the white cloth. Please show us why the witness had to open his locker. Yeah. Must have on beat, yo. Damn, getting lost in the beat, man. Might have to change my ringtone.
For some reason, you disguised yourself as Detective Goodman and entered the evidence room, though I don't know to what end. Yet. However, something unexpected happened. Officer Meekins barged in on you. When asked to show your ID card, you pulled a knife on him. However, Officer Meekins panicked, and the white coat you were wearing was soiled with blood.
A bloody white coat.
You couldn't just walk out like that, so you hid the coat in your locker. Not bad, partner. You can't. Your Honor, he just said not bad. Your Honor, he just complimented me on pitting him to the...
Well, you give Laurel Caesars. That's how it works here in Japanifornia. Now then, Officer Marshall, are you ready to tell us the truth?
Never! Bury me with my money. Oh, looks like I underestimated y'all. I hope you're happy now, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago, if you were only half as persistent as you are today, we all wouldn't have to be here now, would we? Officer Marshall, tell the court what the fuck you're talking about. All of it. All right. Seems the time has come. Witness testimony.
Marshall's confession.
My real name is Gregory. I grew up just outside of Burlington, Vermont. I worked at the local Blockbuster. I watched a lot of cowboy movies. I had to do it that day. I couldn't stand by and let it die. I stole the detective's ID and I dressed like him. I planned to take out the evidence. Wasn't expecting Officer Meekins. I knocked him out. Managed to escape. I knew which areas I wouldn't be caught on camera. There wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15.
Whoa. So the supposed victim was really you. But there's one thing I still don't understand. Traces of a large quantity of blood were found on the floor of the evidence room. If no one was murdered, then how could that be?
Miles.
Edgy?
Officer Meekins managed to cut his own hand. My guess is he's the donor.
Oh yeah, he cut his own hand. Oh yes. Well put there, cowboy.
He was in the middle of doing a whole bunch of hand seals to unleash his bloodline Meekins technique. It was too much blood for such a small donation. Cross-examination.
Marshall's confession.
Marshall! I had to do it that day. Couldn't stand by and let it die. Uh-huh. When you say it, you mean... Do you even have to ask, partner? The SL9 incident.
2 years have passed since that case was closed. It was going to completely end with the transfer that day.
Not if I had anything to do with it. That incident's not over.
But what did you hope to accomplish by sneaking into the evidence room?
When a case is closed, only that case's lead detective can look through the evidence. I wanted to have a look at it myself one more time. No matter what the cost. I don't care what anyone says, partner. That case is mine.
But Officer Marshall wasn't in charge of that investigation. Why does he care so much about it?
That day was my last chance. That's why I stole the detective's ID and I dressed like him. Planned to take out the evidence.
Why did you disguise yourself as Detective Goodman?
I didn't make it look like Goodman was carrying out the... If I didn't make it look like Goodman was carrying out the evidence transfer, I'd be arrested for stealing evidence, which wouldn't get me anywhere.
So you did it to fool the security camera. And the detective's ID card?
I stole that the morning of the incident.
So that really was why Goodman started filing out a lost items report.
I returned his ID card, left it on the floor of the prosecutor's office parking lot.
Just fucking... Shuffle up and deal.
Man. Jesus Christ, dude. This is on some fucking Joey Buttafuoco shit, right? Your Honor, I hated my wife. She was the worst, but I didn't kill her. Despised her even, but I didn't take her life.
Said some awful things about her.
But it wasn't me.
Mm-mm.
The ID card I found was left there by Officer Marshall.
So essentially, you managed to succeed despite your lack of foresight.
Putting it nicely.
What did you mean, partner?
I mean, the fingerprint-activated lock, of course. No matter how well you disguise yourself, you can't change your fingerprints.
Yeah, let's say you repeat that chewing on some steel, huh? You ever swallow a bullet?
Under normal circumstances, you wouldn't have been able to open that locker yourself.
But he could because a rubber glove just happened to get stuck in the door.
Ooh, how convenient.
That means Detective Goodman must have opened the locker before Officer Marshall. Is that what we're playing? We're not playing a game of it was set up for him to come in and open it, but that as a soul-motivated actor, he walked in, was too stupid to understand the fingerprint system, and then just got lucky?
Wasn't expecting Officer Meekins. I knocked him out.
Pulled a knife on Officer Meekins and tried to drive him off?
Let's just say I was a little surprised.
Knocked him out with a big stab knife.
I only planned on being in the evidence room for no more than 5 minutes. Didn't think anyone would actually come in during that short time.
Officer Meekins certainly is a 1 in a million type of person.
You said it!
Mistaking a detective for an intruder and demanding to be shown his ID. I'll have to think a little more about his raise this year.
Got you!
When did Edgeworth get so much influence?
Anyway, he threw himself at me and I ended up cutting him. Slightly. Sorry it had to turn out that way. Me knocking him out and everything.
By the way, what happened to your knife?
Oh, you mean this one?
I don't know what to say.
So you knocked Officer Meekins out and...
So when I pointed it out earlier, though,
You said like it looked different?
well, the last session, I was like, we have 2 knives, but where's that third knife? Could it be the one he's been shaving himself with?
Yeah.
But then looking at it here, as he's holding it up in part of his animation, it's like, it's one of those like, there it is. But it feels like the 3D model has like an extra thing going on. Like it looks a little different in its hilt.
Maybe it's a different in the design of the 3D model and the...
That's an important
The
thing to
image you
not
have
fuck
here.
up. But yeah, the idea of being like, he's been showing it to you the whole time. But we'll take the word for it.
Managed to escape. I knew which areas wouldn't be caught on camera.
So you did your research beforehand.
Those who go into the desert unprepared don't live long, partner. I didn't think it would be make a difference, though. The security tape is erased every 6 hours. If all had gone according to plan, no footage would have been left.
However, you bloodied your coat in your struggle with Officer Meekins.
If someone was in the security room when I came out, the jig would have been up. I opened my locker and I stashed it in there.
What was Officer Meekins doing during that time?
What else? Sleeping like a baby.
So what you're saying is, on that day...
There wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15.
But the blood found at the scene certainly indicates a crime took place.
What are you, blind? The victim shown on that tape is me, and I'm not dead yet, partner.
So you stole the evidence from your locker? From the locker?
Actually, no, I didn't.
Why not?
When I opened the locker, the evidence was already gone.
What? What? Mr. Edgeworth, where is that evidence? It's still missing, Your Honor.
Detective Goodman's locker was already empty. Someone else stole the evidence. Officer Marshall, may I ask you one thing?
Fire away, partner. It's a free country. Just remember, I'm also free to decide whether or not to answer.
What?
Yeah, that's right, y'all. I plead the fifth. Oh, you thought I didn't know about the fifth?
Damn it, Marshall. Now's not the time. That's really not the time, dude.
I plead amendment go. Ask me where I've been. Ask me where I've been. Go. Ask me what's going on. Ask me what I believe. Go.
Judge, do something.
Ich, ni, san, she, go!
Why did you do this? Stealing a detective's ID, injuring a police officer. This is no small offense.
Moreover, you're an officer yourself. This will have serious consequences.
I mean, shit, if you got fucking demoted to patrolman, what are we doing now? MTA? Traffic?
Damn. Yeah, I guess so. Get on the street.
Sécurité publique?
Wow, no respect. No power. It can't just be forgiven with a simple cut in salary.
Not that salary cuts are ever a valid solution.
Like I said, this isn't your case. This one's mine. And I'll do anything it takes to get an answer I'm satisfied with.
The witness has an unusual amount of zeal. Let's hear more.
I just can't forget the SL9 incident. Know why?
Yeah, let me guess. But that case was solved 2 years ago, wasn't it?
That's the reason the evidence was stored in the evidence room. Joe Dark was convicted for his crimes. One thing I can say for sure is he deserved his sentence.
Hold that thought.
I remember the Joe Dark case. It involved serial murders, didn't it?
I don't intend to complain about how it turned out, but there's something that still bothers me. Something went down at that trial. Something no one will talk about.
What happened?
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to find out.
Why is he so concerned with that incident? Maybe I should present him with what I think his real reason is. If I had a feeling we'd wind up here sooner or later. Everyone involved here is related in some way to that case. Better take another look at the files.
Had to do it that day. I couldn't just stand by and let it die.
When you say it, you mean...
Do you even have to ask, partner?
We did this, right? Okay. So it's just straight up telling you. Instead of finding a contradiction, you're answering a question.
Objection!
Officer Marshall, I think I understand. I think I know why you care so much about the SL9 incident.
Sounds like you've been sipping too much cactus juice, partner.
You just asked me why. I have the SL9 incident file right here. The name Marshall is mentioned in here. And a list of murder victims. Neil Marshall. Are you related to this man?
Neil Marshall.
Yeah, I'm sure you heard the name. 2 years ago, he received the same lousy prosecutor award you got.
What? A prosecutor? Was he cowboy number 2?
Also, Edgeworth should be familiar with these people. Having been there and known. Karma, 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 karma. Chameleon. Fake cowboy. He must be talking about the King of Prosecutors Award.
Oh, now I remember. Prosecutor Neil Marshall.
God damn it. Miles.
He handled the SL9 case before I did.
That's right. He was killed. And the case fell into your hands.
But what's his relation to you?
He was my brother. Young little yeehaw.
Oh, man.
He played Red Dead Revolver. The original. And then he told him about it.
He was investigating murders with Damon Gant. Then, the then deputy chief of police.
There he is.
group of detectives I was part of worked under them.
Oh, so this was the fucking scrub squad, and they were the original Sanin,
Yeah.
right? When we saw them here, they were chumps.
We were desperate to prosecute the killer. Joe Dark.
Oh, look at those eyes.
Yeah, yeah, I see him. I see him.
That's a scary man. Imposing, with an aura even.
Spiral energy. Can't be mistaken or fucked with.
My brother fought Dark and was killed.
Oh, damn.
That was the first time Dark left behind any evidence. That was all we needed. He was arraigned and incarcerated. The case was finally closed. At least, according to the public records.
What do you mean?
My brother couldn't have been killed by Joe Dark. I knew my brother better than anyone. No one could have beaten him in a fight.
And that's it? That's your reason for your insane actions?
There's more to my brother's death than what went in the records say. No matter how much you try to hide it, you can't fool me.
Well, at least one thing's for certain. Now we know what happened at the police department on the day of the crime. That was the last day the SL9 case could be reopened. Not satisfied with its resolution, Officer Marshall planned to steal the evidence.
Disguising himself as Detective Goodman, he entered the evidence room. Officer Meekins confronted him, so he rendered him unconscious and fled.
Yes, this mystery has finally been cleared up. No murder took place at the police department that day.
As you were looking for.
The things that happen by chance never cease to amaze.
Yeah. Could it be the crime field aura around you and your fucking scarf?
At exactly the same time as the murder at the prosecutor's office, this fake murder was going on at the police department.
Chance. It's gotta be more than just that.
So, if no one was murdered at the police department on the day of the crime, that means the murder in the prosecutor's office's parking lot was the real one. Which in turn means only one person could have committed the crime. Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye.
Objection? Hold on. A verdict wasn't reached in yesterday's trial.
Which is why we examined the incident at the police department today.
But
There's only one reason the defendant was not convicted yesterday. There yet remained the mystery of the simultaneous murder at the police department.
if you're ever in a trial with a jury that's judging you and one attorney is talking and the other goes but and then the first one just continues going through, it's done.
Yeah.
Visually cooked. You can't recover from the optics of that. If there's a jury.
If there is one.
Seems to me this boy got the draw on you, partner.
All of the mysteries of the police department have been resolved. No doubt about it. Our sole murder took place at the prosecutor's office. The only suspect is Lana Skye. And the testimony of one Miss Angel Star is completely incontestable.
You don't even believe that yourself with your close-up
I'm trying to get paid here.
in your car.
If you have a response, make it a single word or less.
Oh yeah? Miles Predgeworth? Tails over here, fucker. Ah!
Does that count as a word? I rest my case.
No, wait!
Uh-huh. It seems this trial has reached its conclusion. There is no room for doubt. None at all. Well done, Mr. Wright. Thanks to you, I didn't need to waste my time.
Can I get an O?
Disproving the alleged murder at the police department.
There's no doubt what I proved today is true. The apparent murder on the security camera's tape was really fake. But I didn't realize that would end up proving Lena guilty.
Now then, the time for the verdict has arrived. The court finds the defendant...
We're not going to get to the bottom of any more of this. There are no further questions. Nothing else is suspicious. And there is nothing else we need to know.
No loose strings, no nothing.
Your Honor, a veritable kitten roll has unfolded before us today. Nothing. Hold it!
Whoa!
What the?
Your Honor, wait!
Hey, Missy, get off! God damn it, what in tarnation? Emma!
The defense has an objection. A scientific objection.
God damn. You missed her doing a fucking shoulder block, sending Marshall flying. She Tetsu Zanko'd him off the stand and then got into position.
Right?
What do you mean, right?
Mr. Wright, are you this girl's guardian? Please, Your Honor, all I'm asking for is for a minute of your time.
Whose scientist this is?
Please hear me out. Mr. Edgeworth, please. No. I don't want to leave any loose ends. You want a minute? I'll give you 3. I was kind of in shock. I mean, finding out the LCL-9 incident referred to the Joe Dark killings.
Now that she mentions it, the names of both Sky Sisters were in that file.
But that's when I figured it out. I mean, what Officer Marshall was trying to do that day. So I knew his fingerprint had nothing to do with the crime. That left only one thing, the other handprint. You mean the traces of blood found on Detective Gumshoe's locker? But no fingerprints were found on it, right? No, but I figured it. If I examined it scientifically, I'd be sure to find a clue. So I ran over there and looked at it again.
So did you find something?
No.
Huh?
Sorry, I guess I'm not much of a scientific investigator after all.
Is that all?
Please don't be mad. I'm just a high school student.
I'm just an attorney.
But, Mr. Wright, those traces of blood are the only clue we have. If we can't find something wrong with them... Please, Mr. Wright, you're a professional. If anyone can save Lana, it's you.
Well, you did crash the stage. Me? Oh boy.
Time's up. Now then, Mr. Wright. With regard to the incident at the police department...
Does anyone else have anything else to say? Please, by all means, rush the fucking stand. We don't have places to be.
Where's the bailiff? He went to get your bento box, sir. Ah, I'll allow it.
Actually, you yelled at him to go get tacos instead.
That is across town. Does any reasonable doubt remain? It appears the defense is troubled by the other blood mark. Looking at the floor plans, a handprint was discovered around here. Is there a problem with this? Mr. Wright, I'm sorry I can't be of more use, but still, if you can't find anything wrong with that blood mark, Lana will be...
Please answer my question, Mr. Wright. We don't have all day.
Yes, Your Honor. If I've ever needed to concentrate, it's now. What could be wrong with that handprint on Detective Gumshoe's locker? Could there be something I'm missing? Wait.
Objection!
This handprint left at the crime scene clearly shows a contradiction.
The only thing that seems clear is your grasping, Mr. Wright.
You've been staring pretty intently at those floor plans. Tell me, is there a problem with them?
Yes, this is strange. They're not measured in tatami mats. Take a good look at these floor plans. Something is missing.
Missing? You mean something hasn't been drawn on there?
Yeah. Something that, when drawn, will completely change the meaning of the blood mark.
Let us pray the defense isn't simply trying to buy time. Very well, Mr. Wright.
With all this evidence here, there's gotta be something I can use.
The question is, which item can prove something is missing in the floor plans?
Ooh. Right, because they didn't create a separate entry. It was just part of the case investigation sequence. Then that's the only way to... Yeah. Let me just do something real quick.
Hello, buddy. How's it going?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're laughing?
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
its placement is the best. The placement is absolutely stellar. It's hilariously good placement. I mean, fuck. You thought it did like 3 things and does like 6. Just like a unionized fucking officer would have done. Mm-hmm. Pull the cord.
End of the footage. Looped back.
Back the blow. As they say back west, even a blind man can hit with buckshot. That is, so long as he's facing the general direction.
It seems Mr. Wright's not sure which direction to face.
It's no use. The more evidence there is, the greater the chance of me being wrong.
Just calm down, Mr. Wright. Try and remember what the evidence room was like on the day of the crime.
But the... what is it the... Please may allow me another chance, or I'll prove it this time.
Want to try this again?
With all this evidence here, there's gotta be something I can use. Yeah, like...
It sucks when there's because rather I say it sucks, but it's like it's the game, right? That it's the gameplay. That is to say, the investigations we do don't all yield a piece of evidence, right? So we sprayed that thumbprint, we looked at it, and it was a key point of discussion, but it didn't yield a point of evidence.
If it is what I think it is, it's really funny.
Yeah, so because it doesn't yield a direct piece of evidence from the locker, then I want to call out the lack of a fingerprint on the bloody handprint caused by the glove.
Okay.
And you can't get there, so then you have to extrapolate it a fucking step further back.
Yeah.
What about that piece of plywood?
The Blue Badger, mascot of the police force.
Let's go.
Defender of truth, guardian of proof,
Yeah.
planter of fucking who knows what. Taper of body cams.
Sprinkler of stars. Come on, baby. Explain yourself, Mr. Wright.
Please look at the floor plans of the crime scene. The Blue Badger is not here.
Mm-hmm.
So watch what happens when we put him in. This is where he was dancing at the time of the crime. Well, now he always dances at crime time, but this time he was dancing extra hard.
Well, what? Oh.
That's right. So long as the Blue Badger is dancing here, it would be impossible to place a handprint at this spot on the locker.
Booyah!
Right? Unless visibly someone did that, but then you would have seen that on the camera. Which is why it's hilarious where that placement is, because it's carrying the case.
Yep.
The Blue Badger is carrying the entire case.
Can we get the Blue Badger on the stand?
I mean, fuck it. What?
A singular strike. So that means, just exactly what does that mean?
And like, what's with that reaction too? You don't know. It means it can't be done.
What are you saying? Blood traces were undeniably found on that locker.
Don't look at me. I didn't put it there.
Mr. Wright, think it through scientifically. Ah, jeez.
Emma.
On that afternoon, Officer Meekins was the one who brought the Blue Badger to the evidence room, right? After he put it down, it would be impossible to leave a handprint on that locker.
So that must mean that this blood mark was left there before the Blue Badger was brought in, and this fucking idiot blocked it.
Oh my gosh, you didn't see it as he was carrying it and put it down in front of it?
Of all the places to put it down.
Just one moment. I will not allow such far-fetched balderdash in my courtroom.
And he blocked off Gumshoe from being able to access his locker as well. It may sound far-fetched, Your Honor, but it's the only possible explanation. On February 21st, even the police department's evidence room, blood was spilled not once, but twice. Hey, do you think they went with a badger because of the word badge?
Oh, that could be.
Or do you think
Or badgering.
Because they badger the shit.
Yeah.
They give no fucks whatsoever. Could it be for that reason?
Double entendre.
You know, the thin blue badger.
But how?
One time was captured on this tape by the security camera. Officer Meekins cut his hand, from which a trivial amount of blood fell. The problem is, the other time. Someone bled prior to the struggle shown in this tape. It had to have been... Detective Goodman, when he was really murdered.
What? Hold on a minute, that's ridiculous. I refuse to accept your absurd claim.
Then why don't we test the blood? Objection! Oh! The murder portrayed in the security tape has been proven to be fake. However, that does not explain the blood mark found on the locker.
Objection! So then, assuming this murder you purport really happened, when did it take place? I demand you show evidence that proves when it occurred.
Objection! Sometime between 4 p.m. and 5:30.
Huh? To summarize, the defense claims that
Objection!
Double objection.
prior to Officer Meekins being cut by Jake Marshall, who was posing as Detective Goodman,
Objection pot. They both spiral and hit the judge.
another incident took place in that evidence room.
That's right. The blood mark on the locker proves this.
Very well. Then tell us, when did this first incident occur? As Mr. Edgeworth said, proof must be presented.
Proof shows when the evidence took place. There's only one piece of evidence that can show that.
Now then, will the defense please present its evidence? What shows when the first crime took place?
Right here. This is the proof. It's quite simple, you see.
If it's so simple, then don't get it wrong. If was an acceptable excuse, we wouldn't need police. The first crime took place before the Blue Badger was brought to the room, right? Say, when the Blue Badger was brought there anyway?
Come on. Come on. Throw me a bone here. Come on. That's goofy.
Don't we have a chart listing a bunch of times for something? Proof that shows when the murder took place? There's only one piece of evidence that can show that.
Now then, will the defense please present its evidence? To be fair, that report does show us a very wide window of time.
It does. It does. But I don't want to get into... I vowed to not argue.
Logically,
The
it
game-
makes sense
the game
to be like, hey,
thing.
it could have happened at any moment between
The
there
time
and then,
of
so
death
it's
range.
dubious.
The time of death range is more conclusive on the corpse. This is more. This leaves potential holes.
Yeah.
The body being potentially dead ahead of the time tells us that for sure we know that could have happened.
That could have happened. Yeah,
So it's the more
absolutely.
decisive of the two things. This is valid, but of the two right now, you would point to that for a hard confirm on the moving of the body. But yes. The crime took place inside the evidence room, and the killer would have had to enter it. And in order to do so, an ID card would have been required.
An ID card. Oh, the ID card record.
Officer Meekins brought the Blue Badger panel into the evidence room at...
Let's see here. 4:50 p.m.
If the crime took place before that time, then it would be 4:40 p.m. Edgeworth, you killed an... What? Huh? Ah! Miles Edgeworth, just what have you done?
I never would have figured you had the nerve, boy.
Drop the act, witness. It doesn't take a lot of thought to figure out who it could have been me.
Nope, I ain't getting it.
I'm afraid I don't understand either.
It's clear from the luminol that tests that blood was there. However, when the second crime took place, both Officer Meekins and Officer Marshall failed to notice the blood.
That means the blood from the first crime was wiped away by the real murderer.
I would have had just 10 minutes to murder the victim, carry his body away, and clean up the blood. Unfortunately, that's physically impossible.
That would mean the crime must have taken place before Mr. Edgeworth entered the evidence room. Oh, I was worried there for a second.
I mean, all we have to do is just swab the blood, get some tests done. You know. Let's look at that chart again. There's only one other card remaining. Lucky number 11. Talk about a lucky number.
But wait, that doesn't make sense. How could Detective Goodman have entered the evidence room?
Since there's no record of his card being used beforehand, he must have entered along with the real murderer. That's the only plausible explanation. He went in with 777777777.
He went in with 7777777?
The extra 7 is for good luck.
No. Mr. Edgeworth, please look into this ASAP. Find out whose ID number is 7777777.
Okay, well, we're just making jokes like one line ahead of the fucking game at this point.
Actually, exactly the fucking show.
This is just, it keeps happening. Na 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 na.
Baby, give it up, oh baby. That's 1-7 too many, Your Honor.
Na 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 na.
Unfortunately, I'm unable to look up the owner of that ID card. At least at present.
What? Explain yourself, son.
The ID number 7777777 belongs to someone with a rank of captain or higher.
Oh, does it now? Is this like Saudi license plates, where we can just like get vanity to show the lower your license plate on your car, the more you're balling, because everybody has money. Just getting a super nice car is not enough. You're not that fancy if you've got a McLaren.
So what do they do?
If you've got a McLaren and your license plate is 9, you've got a lower number. That's a flex.
Wow.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Who would be so high with so much decorum?
Someone who is a so-called executive officer. We don't have the authority to inquire into such a person's identity.
Clearly it must be the murderer, Lana Sky. Edgeworth, that's ridiculous. How?
I'm not finished talking, Mr. Wright. There is one situation in which we can be granted such authority.
If an official charge filed against an executive is accepted.
Oh, do we have to do an internal investigation that lasts a couple of years and goes nowhere? An official charge.
You're all alike, aren't you? with your cover-ups and your forgeries.
I mean, Marshall, you're not wrong, because you bring the charge on the official, and then he investigates himself and finds no wrongdoing, and then files a report and says it's all good.
That's how the prosecutor's office operates.
I take pride in my work, Officer Marshall. I would appreciate it if you would keep your slander to yourself.
Slander, is it? Okay. Let me ask you a question.
Yes?
No, not you. To her. The defendant sitting over there. Your own little executive. Lana?
Don't be stupid. She's been charged with murder. Of course, we've looked up her ID number, and it's not 77777777.
Ah, that's why you didn't pursue that line of questioning then.
Don't play me for a fool, partner. That's not what I want to ask. All I want to know is one thing about that incident.
The SL9 incident.
Answer me this, Chief Prosecutor. In that trial 2 years ago, did you really only use legitimate evidence?
Do you need the witness to repeat his question, Chief Prosecutor?
I assume that she's like sitting on the bench and didn't teleport into.
She was.
Yeah, okay. I heard him fine, Mr. Edgeworth.
2 years ago, I was in charge of the prosecution for that trial. At the time,
Occasionally, we felt the powerlessness of the law. At least I did.
Lana,
I became a prosecutor in order to suppress crime with the law. But before I realized it, we were the ones being suppressed by the law.
Defendant, just what are you saying?
I'll ask you again, Chief Prosecutor.
Get out of my way
Get out
so
of
I can
my way.
stand on the stand and ask you good.
Make sure everybody gets my good angle. Stick 'em up. During that trial 2 years ago, did you really present all the evidence in court? Can you look me, an investigator in that crime, in the eye and say that you did?
Chief Prosecutor, you didn't.
I don't have to, Officer Marshall.
why won't you answer him?
Drastic crimes require drastic measures. That's just the way it is. We did what we had to in order for him to get the verdict he deserved.
But Lana...
Even if it involved forging evidence.
Oh!
See? That's what I'm talking about.
No. No!
Stop that, Tracy! Order! Order! Order!
Lana's remarks caused such a stir. The chaos in the courtroom could not be
Oh
quelled.
my God!
The conclusion of the trial would have to wait until the following day.
Our perfect justice system! What is this? Everything is going up in flames!
Topsy-turvy,
Oh,
cats and dogs
That's crazy!
living together.
we live in a society! How dare they? Oh. Is it time for lunch?
It's almost like subordinates take the fall for their senpais sometimes. It's almost like a kohai steps in the way.